Hello and welcome to the Capital OTB Stakes Preview. Sully Karate and Mike Callahan here for June 16th. Very nice card at Churchill Downs. How are you, Mike?
What's going on, Sully? Yeah, big card on Saturday night to be exact. So great racing all the way through the afternoon, all the way into the night, as the Stephen Foster's going to go somewhere around 10 o'clock, I believe 9:49 to be exact as far as post times go. But it looks to be a loaded field, big race, big race card in general with 5 stakes races there, including a couple really nice horses on the comeback trail. We'll see what happens, but I know you still haven't set us all up for it right
Absolutely, now. And as you said, yeah, these races are at night, so great racing all afternoon on Saturday. But we're going to start our stakes preview with the 5th race at Churchill Downs. This is the Matt Winn, a Grade 3 event, a mile and a 16th on the main track. Then race number 6, it is the Grade 2 Wise Dan. This is a mile and a 16th on the turf course. Race number 7 this is the Fleur de Lis Handicap, a Grade 2 event going a mile and an 1/8. And we're going to move on to race number 9. We're going to flip-flop race number 9 and 8. Race number 9, it is the Regret, a Grade 3 event going a mile and an 1/8 on the turf course. And we're going to end it with the big one Saturday night at Churchill Downs, race number 8. It is the Stephen Foster Grade 1 event, mile and an 1/8 on the main track.
All right, but we will take a look at that 5th race on Saturday night as we do take a look at the Grade 3 Matt Winn. Again, as Sully alluded to, it's a mile and 16th. As your chair is, Sully's moving around right now, the chair is a little squeaky at this point, but we'll take a look at the 5th race right now. Number 1 is Navy Arm Guard going out for Joan Scott. 21 on the morning line. This horse is the winner of 2 of the last 3, including last out winning impressively, and one other than getting up to win by 3/4 of a length. Got a decent 71 buyer, but when comparing it to the field, it's definitely low in here. There are going to be some notable names that we talk about in a little bit, including Funny Duck, Combatant, and also Axeman, who I believe is the second best horse in the 3-year-old crop, also trained by Bob Baffert. But Navy Arm Guard, I guess you could say, off the recent form, is pretty good. But winning against far less as far as competition goes. Now stepping up into this Grade 3 event against the likes of some very good horses in here. Has been in the money 6 of 10. Maybe that's a pro for this horse, but really has to improve a lot to get the money.
Yeah, this horse, I on paper, just looks way over its head. Looked great last time in the optional claimer, but if you look at the 2 graded stake starts for this horse, did not look good in the Lexington, did not look good at Tampa Bay Downs. Against some nice horses in Vino Rosso, Catholic Boy, Flame Away, My Boy Jack, Telekinesis, Pony Up, but racing probably the same type of horses in this field. I just think it's just a little bit over its head here.
Number 2 is Home Base, a winner of the last 2. Very impressively, the last one getting a 90 buyer, winning that one other than allowance race. Going 7 furlongs here at Churchill Downs. Thought it was a very good performance. Came home in a quick 1:22 for that 7 furlongs. This horse is going to be sitting just off the pace in here, and there does seem to be a lot of speed. You're going to see Axeman going like he normally does. You could potentially see a couple other pace setters in here, but I think Home Base could sit an ideal trip in at 10-1. He's a player in here.
Yeah, it can be, and I like to see how this horse does the first graded stakes. Star Tomlinson, great ROI in this graded stakes, winning 10% with a very nice ROI. This horse has been working lights out since that May 18th race. So going into that race, really nice work. So a little bit interesting at 10-1.
Number 3 is Funny Duck going out for George Arnold. So you have to note right now is winning at a 35% clip down at Churchill Downs. 8 for 23, including 14 for 23 in the money. Brian Hernandez is going to be aboard at 5-1 on the morning line. This horse upset winner last time in the Grade 3 Pat Day Mile at a little under 40-1 that day. There were bombs in the entire race, if anybody remembers it. Stumbled at the start, but was able to storm home late, got a 91 buyer, career best. Really, when you look at that race, you have to say, did the horse just love to slop? Got ideal conditions as far as a quick pace to run into that day. Everybody was tired down the stretch. This horse was able to fly home. Hasn't been able to do so on a dirt fast track yet, but a lot of these races for this horse have been on the turf course against the likes of Hawkish in that maiden special weight. Did finish second by a half length to Hawkish. Hawkish came back to win in the Penn Mile. I think Funny Duck is an interesting horse. May be overlooked in this spot based on last time out and the theory that maybe the horse just loved to slop on a fast track on Saturday night. May not be the same situation, but is a player at 5-1.
Very interesting horse, is Funny Duck, and a little bit of a head scratcher when you look at the rest of the race. And are they going to try to come off the pace again, or are they going to try to set the pace like they have in the recent past on the grass, where the horse was probably the most successful, except for that win in the Pathé Mile? Too short of a price for me to take on top, especially the horse was 40-1 last time, 91-1 in that Grade 3 Transylvania. So, I couldn't play on top, but definitely very interesting to see what Brian Hernandez and George Arnold, where they want to place this horse throughout the race.
Number 4 is King Zachary, going out for Dale Romans. Robbie Alvarado is going to be aboard. 10-1 on the morning line for this horse. And winner of the 2 of the last 3, including last time out, and an optional claimer, was able to come from off the pace and get the job done at 3-1 that day. Won by a half length. Did face the likes of Vino Rosso and Enticed in the Grade 2 Wood Memorial. I know you like King Zachary, especially since to go back to that 3-back race down at Gulfstream Park to break the maiden during Champions Meet. I know that's when the emergence of King Zachary, for you anyway, puts you on the bandwagon. But for me, the horse, I like him. He hasn't been able to progress forward. If you take a look at buyers, and you're a buyers-only person, you have to take a look at the fact that the horse hasn't been able to put it all together. There really hasn't been any steadily improves, steadily runs, a high 70s buyer in here, and that just wouldn't be able to get the job done against the likes of some really good horses in here. But nonetheless, probably a horse to use in your exotics.
Yeah, I have the horse in my mix. Couldn't play on top, and just watching that horse at the championship meet, as you said, Mike, really it was impressive. Then went to the Wood. I thought way over its head. The horse was way over bet. Was 30-1 on the morning line. Went off 9-1. But the 2 for 2 at the distance, and those were the horse's best race. But yes, the buyers are just a little bit low to be competitive in here, but I do have the horse in my mix at a really nice 10-1 price.
Number 5 is Combatant, one of those notable names who was on the Derby trail, ended up running the last race in the Derby, finishing 18th that day, really did no running at all, but was a horse that really liked to hit the board, was hitting the money 3 through the last 6 races, and steadily was running really good down at Oaklawn Park. Now, albeit wasn't able to get the job done against the likes of Magna Moon and a couple, also My Boy Jack and Gravitos. But for me, this horse, buyers-wise, fits really well in here. Again, on the sloppy surface last time out, at down in Churchill Downs for the Kentucky Derby. I'm going to throw that race out, and if you throw that race out, this horse fits really well in here, and I absolutely have this horse in the mix. We'll stay the distance of a mile and 16th anyway.
If you could beat Axeman, this is going to be the horse to do it coming late, and it is going to be tough to beat Axeman, but you have to play this horse. The Asmussen-Winchell connection, they're unbelievable together. Ricardo Santana is riding phenomenal, especially with the Asmussen horses. So, interesting horse here at a really nice, fair 4-1 price that's going to be coming late.
Number 6 is Tis Mischief, going out for Dale Romans, another Dale Romans trainee. Corey Lanery is going to be aboard 8-1 on the morning line. This horse last time raced in the Grade 2 American Turf at Churchill Downs over a yielding turf course. Was actually going on the turf for the first time. Did no running at all. He's going to go back to the dirt, where this horse put in a couple decent performances, notably a 3rd place finish in the Grade 2 Holy Bull behind Audible and also Free Drop Billy. Didn't think that was a bad performance at all. And again, is a horse getting back onto the dirt. I think he's going to be able to stay the distance. The only problem is a stone cold closer in here, and I'm not sure how speedy or quick the race is going to be. Axeman's going, but is anybody else going to set up a really hot pace in here? We'll have to see on Saturday night, but Tis Mischief is another closer to use in here.
Yeah, I have the horse in the mix as well here, and interesting price at 8-1. I like Corey Landry. He's riding phenomenal, especially at Churchill Downs. An unbelievable 2018 for him. Dale Romans, again, he is having a very, very nice year at Churchill Downs, winning 26% of his starts. Horses race against much better in here. I know Axeman is probably the best horse this horse will face, but has raced against some solid horses the last 4 starts. I think fits in nicely here. And as you said, if it doesn't get a pace to run into, it could be in some trouble.
The 7 is Axeman, going out for Bob Baffert. Mike Smith is going to be aboard 4-5 on the morning line, and I've alluded to this the entire time. I think this is the second best horse in the 3-year-old division. Last time out was very impressive in the Sir Barton on Pimlico. Over the off-going, got a nice 99 buyer. For me, though, before all the buzz of Justify, Axeman was the horse taking all of the buzz. Then ran a little bit of a dud in the San Vicente against Cantaka, but was really, you go back, watch that race, was dueled into defeat. They went really, really quick for that 7 furlongs. Kind of got gutted going into the far turn. Throughout that race, this horse would be 3 for 3 lifetime, including that 101 buyer 2-back and that optional claimer going a mile. This horse has been able to answer every question about the stretch out. I think this is a serious player in here. I think finds, I wouldn't say a soft group in here, but I think a really logical group to face in here. And I think Axeman's going to get the job done by distance in here. We'll see what happens at 4 to 5, but he looks to be the most likely winner.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to beat this horse. And this horse beat a horse that I really liked by 10 lengths in Lambo, who came back and won in a stakes race later on in the career. So that just has to please Axeman. And as you said, the Kentucky race, that was just suicidal for actions there. So completely throw that race out. Looked unbelievable last time on Preakness weekend. So again, definitely going to be tough to beat this horse, especially Bob Baffert, Mike Smith. You can't say enough about them.
All right, what are your thoughts here on the Grade 3 Mount Win?
Axeman on top. You know, it's going to be tough to beat this horse at the speed. I don't think anyone's going to go with this horse. It's going to be an easy start to the pick 5. I got to find a price somewhere else. Combatant underneath, I think will make up the ground, be the second best horse, but still be a little bit farther behind than Axeman. I put King Zachary in there, just try to get a price underneath those two. Again, I went 7, 5, and 4. Long shot in here, I went with Tis Mischief. You're getting a nice price. Maybe can close with Combatant to make it a little bit interesting to complete exactas and trifectas.
Yeah, I think Axeman, again, I'm one of his biggest fans in here. I think he's going to go on, do some really good things in the second half of his 3-year-old campaign. I think stretching out has been absolutely what this horse needed. It's dangerous on the lead and should get the job done in here. Underneath number 5 Combatant, I think the same exacta play makes a lot of sense in here. I'd probably go off around maybe $13, $14 for the exacta, but I think you could put a lot of money on it and maybe make a little bit of a score in the exacta play. Underneath the 3 for the third. Funny Duck, I think is a horse that's going to be overlooked. I know it was an upset winner last time out. I think people are just going to say, I like the sloppy track, really took advantage of the fractions. But I think this horse actually will have a place on this dirt fast course, and see if he can make some noise in here at 5 to 1. And then my long shot is going to be your own long shot as well, Tis Mischief. I think is a horse that needs everything to go right as far as a quick pace and whatnot, but has run some decent performances and will be storming home late. Maybe he'll make some noise in here as well. So I went 7, 5, 3, and 6 in the Matt Win. All right, we'll take a look now at the Grade 2 Wise Dan. It's going to be race number 6 on Saturday's card, and it's quite interesting. We'll start out with number 1, Divisadero, going out for Kelly Rubley. 31 on the morning line. This horse was coming off of a long layoff, hadn't been seen since October of 2017, and really did some good running last time out in the Grade 2 Monmouth Cup, going a mile and an eighth there. I thought it was a good performance against Money Multiplier, also another horse in there projected, which Divisadero was able to beat. Got a nice 102 buyer. Again, off the layoff, you have to expect this horse is going to be, second off the layoff, is going to be much more fit in here. I think he's a big player at 3 to 1.
Yeah, I had the horse in my mix, Divisadero. I had him a little bit farther down than most people would. This horse is a stone cold closer, and it's going to be tough to catch this beast World Approval in front. So we'll get to that later on. But horse loves Churchill Downs, 3 for 3 here, loves the distance, 5 for 5 in the money with 2 wins, and as you said, raced against an absolutely impressive horse last time, and also raced against some nice horses 2 starts back. Got a 100 even buyer against Seidois, Heart to Heart, and Ballarock. So 3 to 1 is a very interesting price.
Number 2 is Shining Copper, 6 to 1 on the morning line. Going out for Mike Maker, Ryder Ortiz Jr. is going to be aboard. A horse that shows speed time and time again. Was able to get the job done 2 and 3 back in a very nice fashion down at Gulfstream Park in the Grade 2 Fort Lauderdale. Was able to hold on against One Go All Go, also 1 4 back in the Grade 3 River City at Churchill Downs here. So that's good. It does have a win over the Churchill Downs turf course, but that was over a yielding turf course. Last time out, showed speed here at Churchill Downs, over yielding turf course. Wasn't able to get the job done. That was against Yoshida, who looks to go over the Royal Ascot. Also Beach Patrol, who ran a little bit of a dud in the Manhattan, but nonetheless, Shining Copper is going to show speed like always does, and is very dangerous on the lead.
Horse is going to be dangerous on the lead, and I think that's why potentially could get an upset here over World Approval, because the fractions can be quick. This horse last time out I thought did not look good on paper, but ran its race, slowed down the race perfectly. We're in a 50, almost a 51 half, and had a 3-length lead. Looked great at a 10-1 price, but it's going to need to get to the lead. It's going to go with world approval. So you get her out Ortiz in the irons for the first time, which is a very nice sign.
Number 3 is Inspector Lindley going out for Shug McGahee. Jose Ortiz is going to be aboard 10-1 on the morning line. This horse last time closed home to finish a solid second, only beating a nose to a decent horse in Made You Look. Got a 97 buyer, but if you take a look at the overall body of work, has been facing quite weaker in here. Does step up into this grade 2 company in very good form, but is going to get a serious acid test in here, and that's why you're getting 10-1.
Yeah, that's the one thing. But you like seeing Jose Ortiz back in there for Shug. I like those combinations together as well. The closing speed, again, could make it interesting with the visit there. Jose Ortiz is great closing on the grass. 10-1. You're getting a lot of value for a duo in Shug and Jose Ortiz that have won a lot of races together. And this horse, I think, will be a lot better third off that long layoff since running in that Grade 1 Maker's Mark Mile, and also that optional claiming race where the horse really did not run well at all.
Number 4 is the morning line favorite, World Approval. Going out for Mark Cassidy, Johnny V is going to be aboard. 6-5 on the morning line for this horse, who last time out, and everybody's been talking about it, ran a little bit of a head scratcher in the Grade 1 Fred Kilroy. Thought that was, again, just trying to analyze it. I mean, Bowie's Hero came back to run a decent performance. Next Shares did as well. But if you take a look at the old World Approval, who was able to rip off 4 in a row, including winning the Breeders' Cup Mile at Del Mar in the Breeders' Cup, thought that was a very good performance. 100-plus buyers time and time again. Last time out getting that 95 buyer. Yeah, you have to believe that wasn't the real World Approval. They went back, they reassessed the horse, gave him a little bit of time off. Now he reappears in this spot, coming off of a fresh, and you have to believe World Approval is going to run his race.
Absolutely, and you're going to get Johnny V back in the irons where those two won 3 in a row, including that Breeders' Cup race. So 0 for 2 at Churchill, but 4 for 6 wins-wise at the distance. The horse ran probably the second worst race in its career last time out, and still got a 95 buyer. That just speaks how awesome this horse is and how good this horse is for Mark Cassidy. And again, you get Johnny V back in the irons for the horse.
Number 5 is Mr. Misunderstood going out for Brad Cox. Florent Giroux is going to be aboard 10-1 on the morning line. This horse had a nice 3-race win streak to close out the 2017 campaign. Reappeared in 2018 down at Fairgrounds for a couple. Ran a second and a 4th place finish, pretty even than last time out. Did run a career best 101 buyer. Did finish 6th that day, beating 2.5 to Heart to Heart, who came back to run 2nd in a stakes race out in Santa Anita. Also, Bally Rocks was in that race, Forge. What you have to like with this horse going forward is, I know it hasn't won in 3 starts, but is 2 for 2 over the Churchill Downs surface, and also 3 for 3 at the distance. A lot to like as far as those stats.
There is, and I have the horse right in my mix. I think we jinxed Mr. Misunderstood a little bit because the horse was 8 for 8 on the grass before we did our stakes preview with him at the Fairgrounds, but he's still 9 for 11 in the money with 8 wins on the grass, and as you said, 3 for 3 at the distance, 2 for 2 at Churchill Downs. A lot to like with Florent Giroux up at a big price.
Number 6 is Mr. Cub going out for Ian Wilkes. Chris Landeros, 10-1 on the morning line, winner of the last 2, including here at Churchill Downs, going the mile. Is going to stretch out to a mile and 16th. Is a horse that sits just off of the pace. Probably will eye Shining Copper in here, but World Approval will probably be eyeing Mr. Cub as far as that kind of setup goes. Last time on, I thought was a very good performance, career best 100 buyer. Does have a win over the Churchill Downs course in that last race, and is also 4 for 6 as being in the money at this distance. Again, a horse stepping up in class, facing like some really good horses, is going to get an acid test in here, but the price is right at 10-1.
Really nice price for Mr. Cub, and I've been high on Mr. Cub since we saw him at the championship meet, and ran 2 really nice races at Churchill Downs and Keeneland. Likes this track and likes the distance as well. I like Ian Wilkes on the grass and route races, so this horse is going to be right towards the front. It's going to be interesting to see what the time fractions are.
Number 7 is Flatline going out for Charles Dickey. Corey Lannery is going to be aboard 12-1 on the morning line. This horse has been in okay form of recent 3rd and 5th place finishes, including last time out in an optional claimer here at Churchill Downs. The horse is 0 for 7 as far as wins goes here at Churchill Downs, but has been in the money 4 starts. Again, maybe one to use underneath is another one that's going to be a stone cold closer in here. Does have a nice workout on June 12th. Bullet work 1st of 15. But again, it's going to be closing into the pace. You have to believe that there's some other stronger closers in here. At 12-1, I had to take a pass.
I had to take a pass as well. And out of the two closers that we talked about, I'd rather take Shug McGahee and Inspector Lindley and Mr. Misunderstood. So I had to pass on this horse as well. They go for 7. It's just a little too scary. And, ran a nice race against Mr. Cub last time out, who's a horse I do have in my mix. But, again, I had to take a pass because I do like 2 other closers here.
Number 8 is Parlor, Eddie Keneally, and you have to note right now that Eddie Keneally is absolutely on fire down at Churchill. 46% win percentage, 13 for 28, including 20 of 28 being in the money. So you have to take a look at everything Eddie Keneally is putting out right now. This horse last time out reappeared off of a long layoff, was able to get the job done, closing into it, and a nice 3 other than optional claimer. I thought that was a very good performance against Stick Stately Dude, and also a couple other good horses in there. Does get an acid test now, stepping up into this grade 2 company against the likes of some world-class horses at this level. But off that last performance, second off the layoff, you have to expect that buyer to improve. I think it's one that you could use in here.
You definitely could use in here, and as you said, beat nice horses last time out in Stick Stanley Dude, raced against Mr. Cub and Mr. Misunderstood, split them, came in second that day. That was 2 starts back last November here, running in that Grade 3 Commonwealth. So, raced against some big horses as well, and Yoshida, and also fast and accurate earlier on in the career. So Parlor is an interesting horse here at a really nice price for the horse, and wants nothing at all to do with the lead, so the outside stall should not be a problem.
All right, what are your choices here in the Grade 2 Wise Dan?
Yeah, I'm going to try to beat World Approval here, especially because potential single and Axeman and start out the pick 5. I went 6-4-1 in here. I didn't know if I wanted to use Mr. Misunderstood or Divisadero, but I decided on Mr. Cub at a big price. Let's see if this horse can take a stalking roll and win here, just to beat out World Approval. The Visidero is going to be coming late. I think we'll fill out some trifectas. Long shot in here, I went with Inspector Lindley. I like Shug, I like Jose, I like them teaming up. This horse is going to be coming late. Could easily make it interesting here, and a horse that really does like the distance.
I went 1, 4, 8, and 5 in here. I do like the Visidero. I wasn't a fan of him last time out down at Monmouth, but I think that was a really good performance against Money Multiplier. I think second off the left, this horse should be very fit in here, coming in, and 3-1 is going to be very fair. I'm going to take my shot against World Approval, who I have in second. I wouldn't be shocked to see him come back and run a very dominant performance. Again, last time out, I don't think that was really the World Approval that we're used to seeing, obviously. I think gave him a little bit of time off. He'll reappear. It looks to sit an ideal trip in here, tracking the speeds, and see if you get the job done at 6-5 on the morning line. And then underneath, a little bit of a long shot, Parlor. I think that horse last time ran a pretty good race here at Churchill Downs, and that 3 other than optional claimer. I think I know is stepping up against the likes of some very good horses, but has run really well over in graded company here at Churchill Downs against the likes of Mr. Misunderstood and Mr. Cub. Actually split them in that Grade 3 Commonwealth. So I think this horse is going to do some damage in here at 10-1, and then underneath the 5, Mr. Misunderstood. Again, I know we kind of jinxed him. He was 8 for 8 on the turf. But a lot of stats you have to like. 2 for 2 over the Churchill Downs turf course and 3 for 3 at the distance. 10-1 on the morning line. Quite appealing, so I'll use him in the 4th spot as a little bit of a long shot play. So we'll see what happens here in the Grade 2 Wise Dan. But we are through 2 of 5 as we took a look at races 5 and 6 on the big card on Saturday night at Churchill Downs. When we come back, we'll take a look at 2 more. So stay tuned. Welcome back to the Capital TV Stakes Preview as we are through 2 of 5 on the big card at Churchill Downs. We're up to race number 7. It's the Fleur de Lis going. It's going to be a Grade 2 event going 1 mile and an eighth, $200,000 purse. We'll start out with number 1, Furiously Kissed. 10-1 on the morning line. Last time out, did race down at Pimlico in a Grade 3 event. Was able to storm home late to finish 3rd, only beating 2 3/4 against the likes of a couple in here, including Song of Spring and Blue Prize. I thought it was an encouraging race. I did get a nice 86 buyer. Comparing it to the tops, though, maybe is a little bit low. Is going to need to run the best race in here. Is going to need to get some quick fractions, but is maybe a horse you could use as a long shot.
Yeah, this horse is going to be coming late no matter what the fractions are, and yeah, definitely going to need some quick fractions for Anthony Corderola, who has trained this horse pretty well. And, as you said, last time out at Pimlico, if it wasn't sloppy, potentially could have won that race. Horse likes the distance. 10-1 is pretty interesting for a horse that's going to be coming late.
Number 2 is Mopetism, Doug O'Neill, Mario Gutierrez. I feel like we talk about Mopetism
Every
week.
week.
It seems like he's been running every week, but did run in the Gamely last time on the turf course. Getting onto the turf, I know it was kind of an interesting angle against the likes of Sophie P, Madame Dancelot, and Madame Stripes. Finished 7th that day, gets back onto the dirt. Rightfully so, did run the best races in the career on the dirt, including that 4-back win in the Lap Canada at Santa Anita going a mile. Stretches out to the mile and an eighth. Is going to be sitting about mid-pack in here. On the best day, I think Mopetism could do some damage. I ultimately didn't decide to use the horse in the mix, but 8-1 is definitely a usable number.
I didn't use the horse in the mix either, and it's going to go back to the fast track, which is definitely the right move. But the 0-for-3 at the distance really turns me away. I do like betting Mario Gutierrez and Doug O'Neill. They're phenomenal together. Horse had some nice work going into that turf race. Going back to the fast track is obviously the right move. But again, the 0-for-3 at the distance just maybe shy away.
Number 3, Blue Prize, 7-2 on the morning line. You're going to get Jose Ortiz aboard. A winner 2-back in a stakes race down at Aqueduct, going a mile and an eighth. Thought that was a very good performance. Beat the likes of Frostwise if you follow the Naira circuit, and also Verve's Tale. Last time out, did finish second. Beat in a half length to Song of Spring. Did beat Furiously Kissed, the horse we talked about a little bit earlier on. Horse that's going to be sitting just off of the pace in here. Should be stalking the leaders. And again, going to sit a nice ideal trip with Jose Ortiz aboard 7-2 on the morning line. A lot to like.
There is a lot to like here. I have the horse. I have the horse winning here, and this horse is going to get to the lead. Fast pace, slow pace. You've seen this horse do it all on the lead. Look great. The most impressive win was 4 races back in that grade 2 handicap at Churchill Downs. Took a little bit of money. You're getting a really nice price here at 7-2 with Jose Ortiz, and a horse that's going to get to the lead.
Number 4, Streamline, going out for Brian Williamson. Chris Landeros is going to be aboard 15-1 on the morning line. This horse last time did run against Grade 1 company here at Churchill Downs against Salty, Pharaoh, and Martini Glass. It was sort of forwardly placed that day, was sitting 3rd, 4th. Really made no effort, though, down the stretch. Ended up finishing 6th, beating 9 1/4. If you do go back to that 4-back race, was able to win upset that day in that Grade 3 Bayakoa down at Oaklawn over a sloppy surface. Again, maybe a horse if it's wet to use in here, but if it's dirt fast track, you have to kind of say, I'll pass.
And that's what I did. Knock on wood, but right now it's going to be fast. The track's going to be really fast. Nice weather. Going to be at Churchill Downs Saturday evening. So, again, closing horses I like betting, especially with a race with some speed with Blue Prize and Farrell and Awestruck, all going to get to the lead. But if I had to pick a closer in here, I'd rather go with Anthony Quartarolo and Furiously Kissed. But Streamline, I think can run in some Grade 2 events. I just think, this is a really, really nice Grade 2 field.
Number 5 is Song of Spring, the winner last time out in a Grade 3 event down at Pimlico, beating the likes of Blue Prize and also Furiously Kissed. Was storming home late, was 15 lengths actually behind, was able to get up and win that race by a half length. This horse is a stone cold closer, is going to need some speed, but should get some speed to run into, with the likes of Apology Not Accepted in here, and also Awestruck, who look to be sent out quickly on the stretch out for both of them, and then also Blue Prize kind of setting it up for potentially Song Spring to do what he did last time out. If she's able to do that again, she's a big player.
She is, and I have her in the mix as well because I like Blue Prize on top. So, as I said earlier, Ricardo Santana is riding the best of his career. He's having a great 2018. He's running great in graded stakes. The 1-for-6 does shy you away a little bit, but definitely a nice play underneath. Looked great, closing in a slop that was favoring all speed on Pimlico weekend.
Number 6 is Awestruck. George Arnold, the Red Ortiz Jr., 8-1 on the morning line. Back-to-back victories, including last time out here at Churchill Downs, going a mile. Ran it in a quick 1:35-1, won by 6 1/4 that day. Thought that was a very good race. Beat a nice horse in Floridora as well. Again, on the step up in class to this Grade 2 event against the likes of some very good horses. Again, it's recency with 2 victories in a row going up against class in here. We'll see what Awestruck's able to do, but the price is right at 8-1.
Yeah, and I don't think the horse is going to get to the lead, as you said, because there's so much other speed from the outside that need to get to the lead. So it's going to sit a stalking girl next to Blue Prize. It's really interesting here. Ricardo Ortiz is in the irons and has beaten some nice horses at the optional claiming and the allowance level. Looked okay in the only Grade 3 event. But then went to Saratoga, didn't do too much running. But after that Saratoga race, went to Keeneland, went to Churchill, split them 2 wins in 2 seconds. Really impressive here for Awestruck.
Number 7 is Valladorna, going out for Mark Cassey. Last time out was the winner of the Grade 3 Double Dog Dare. Came from off the pace that day to storm home late, win that race by 3/4 of a length against the likes of Apology Not Accepted and also Song of Spring. And we saw Song of Spring come back and win, as we just touched upon 2 horses ago. And again, has to be flattered by that performance. Valadornia does. Coming off of a little bit of a freshening, the workouts have been quite sharp down at Keeneland, including on June 2nd, nice bullet, first of 3, 59 and 4. If this horse is ready off a little bit of a freshening, is a serious player at 4-1.
It definitely is a serious player here, and you say third time's the charm here for Song of Spring, closing, trying to catch this horse. Thought we could have catched him 2 starts back in that double dog there, but this horse was able to beat. With Brian Hernandez, I was able to beat Song of Spring twice. Let's see if Song of Spring can turn that around. But this horse is very interesting. I don't think it's going to try to get to the lead. As we said, there is some other speed in here. Has 1 coming off the pace, including very impressively last time out in that double dog there.
Number 8 is Apology Not Accepted, going out for Brendan Walsh. Julian Laperoux, 12-1 on the morning line. Last time out, did race in that double dog dare that we just touched upon. Almost took him wire to wire. Just got caught by Valadornia that day. Again, another one coming off a little bit of a freshening. Is 1 for 2 as far as wins goes at Churchill Downs, but is 2 for 2 in the money. 2 for 2 in the money at the distance without a win. Again, one that's going to be forwardly placed, but the pace does look to be quick, because you also have Farrell right on the outside, who always goes. She's one that'll go as well, along with a bunch of others that I talked about a little bit earlier on. The pace does look to be hot. As far as race dynamics goes, I think it's a little bit against Apology Not Accepted.
Yeah, the horse needs to get to the lead. If it doesn't get to the lead, it's not going to run its race. It does not like to be behind horses. We saw the only time the horse ran huge is when it had the lead. Needs a perfect break. Needs to beat Farrell to the lead, especially it's going to run at a distance it's 0 for 2 at. So if it doesn't get to the lead, it's going to be tough for this horse to win. But hopefully, if it can get to the lead, I have as a long shot playing here to get to win this race as a little bit of an upset at 12-1.
Number 9 is Farrell, going out for Wayne Catalano. Channing Hill's going to be aboard. Last time out, did run in the Grade 1 event here at Churchill Downs against Salty. Almost took him wire to wire that day. I thought that was a very good performance. Got a 91 buyer, which of recent is the best of this horse's career. And again, Salty, I thought, put in a very good effort, able to come up the rail that day. But Farrell got away with decent fraction, was able to almost hang on going that mile and 16th. Now, distance is a question mark for this horse. And also race dynamics are, especially with the pace being very fast. But this horse does have 3 wins at Churchill Downs, including 5 times in the money. I like the workout on June 7th, going 7 furlongs, trying to get some stamina into the horse. I actually think Farrell has a big shot in here at 3-1.
The horse definitely has a big shot, and as you said, it's just who's going to get to the lead out of those two. It's going to be very interesting to see. I like Wayne Catalano, especially in the state of Kentucky. He's on fire at both at Keeneland and at Churchill Downs, winning 14% of his graded stakes. 3-1, I think is a very fair. It might be a little bit short, but definitely a fair price for a horse that should have beat Salty last time out at a 14-1 price.
This is an interesting race, so I'm going to be interested to see what your. I know you already said your top choice was, but I'm going to be interested to see who your actual 1, 2, 3, 4 picks are.
And I wrote on top of the race, this is the toughest stakes on paper that took me to get through. I went Blue Prize on top. Second spot, I went a little bit of an upset here, trying to get a horse in there, is Awestruck. I have an Ortiz Exacta. And then the third spot, I went Song of Spring. I think can turn things around here at Churchill Downs. It's going to come late, wants nothing to do with the lead, and the pace is going to be very, very hot. Came off some pretty moderate fractions last time. Ran a 90 buyer, 15 lengths off to win that race at a 9-1 price. You're going to get a very fair price with Ricardo Santana Jr. And I kind of already alluded to the long shot in here. Maybe can stretch out the wire if it gets to the lead. Is Apology Not Accepted.
Yeah, I went 9, 3, 7, and 5. I didn't go with Farrell. Thought that was a really good effort last time out. I know she's been getting leg weary in a lot of races, but she was able to almost hang on against Salty that day. Also able. Tasman was in that race and ran a little bit of a clunker, came back and looked lights out on Saturday down on Belmont Stakes undercard. So again, I think Farrell's going to get a really good trip in here on the outside. He's able to dictate where this horse wants to be. I think Shannon Hill's going to give her a good ride at 3-1. I'll put that horse on top. Underneath your top choice, Blue Prize. It's been in really good form the last two. The mile and an eighth shouldn't be a problem at all. Comes in here, stepping up slightly into the class. But if this horse can run back to that Churchill Downs race back in November of 2017, winning by an impressive 8.5, getting a 96 buyer, this horse could be a really big player at a decent price of 7-2. And then also the 7, who's Valadornia. A horse coming off a little bit of a freshening, but looked really good, storming home late. Got some quick fractions to set up in that grade 3 double dog dare, but may get some quick fractions again to set up for Valedonia's late kick. We'll see if that horse can get it done as well. And then the number 5, Song of Spring, has a little bit of a long shot parlay. 6-1 on the morning line last time out, was an upset winner in a grade 3 event at Pimlico over sloppy surface. What did the slop just help this horse? We'll see, but nonetheless is going to be closing late in here and could do some damage as well. So I went 9, 3, 7, and 5 in the grade 2 Fleur de Lis, race number 7 on Saturday night. We'll take a look now at race number 9, as we'll flip-flop race 8 and 9 because the 8th is the Stephen Foster. We'll take a look at the 9th right now, which is the grade 3 Regret, going 1 mile and 1/8 on the turf. A big field of 13. And we'll start out with number 1, Heavenly Love, going out for Mark Cassie. 5-1 on the morning line last time out. Ran back in April, going 1 mile over Keeneland's yielding turf course against the likes of Rushing Falls, The Way I Am, and a bunch of others in there. And I ran an okay performance, 6th beaten 4 lengths on the comeback off a little bit of a freshening. I think was a decent performance. I think ultimately this horse likes the turf more than dirt because they tried this horse in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies against Caledonia Road and Alluring Star. Didn't do much running, but the best numbers have come on the turf. You go back to the maiden breaker down at Kentucky Downs, winning that, breaking that maiden in that $135,000 maiden special weight. Thought that was a really good performance going clear. I think getting back on to the turf is actually going to be my top selection at 5-1.
Yeah, getting onto the turf is definitely the play here for this horse, and you have to play this horse in your mix, especially getting back on the grass. They just tried a few things on the dirt, raced against some absolute studs on the dirt. Going back to the turf course, definitely an okay move. Second time going to be on the turf course since that maiden breaker, so and didn't run a bad race last time at Keeneland on the grass, so it's a very interesting horse. You're getting a really nice price at 5-1.
Number 2 is Consolita, going out for Pat Gallagher. Johnny V is going to be aboard. 10-1 on the morning line. Did win a stakes race at Golden Gate over a synthetic back in February. Got onto the turf course last time out. Ran an even 4th, only beating 2 lengths, 2 treasuring. Thought that was a decent performance in the grade 3 event at Santa Anita. Now steps up into this grade 3 event. Again, buyers-wise, you're just taking a look at it. Runs mid-60s. Comparing it to the best of this group is really low. So, Consolita is really going to have to improve. A lot's going to have to go right at 10-1 on the morning line for this horse.
A lot is going to have to go right, and I ultimately couldn't use 10-1 is a fair price, but buyers-wise, as you said, there's just really not there for this horse. This horse does have a little bit of a closing kick from a stalking roll, but it's going to need a perfect place, and being on the rail and you wanting to do that trip is definitely a tough ask, but you get John Velasquez in the irons. Pat Gallagher trains the horse. He's winning 6% of his graded stakes, but he's winning 15% of his route races. So he's had a nice 2018 too, winning 14% of his races.
Number 3 is She's Pretty Lucky, going out for Eddie Keneally, Corey Lanier. And again, talked about it before, you have to take a look at all Eddie Keneally's horses right now as he's winning at a 46% clip. 10-1 on the morning line for this horse, if you're looking for some value. This horse last time did win a 2 other than optional claimer at Churchill Downs, going 1 mile and 16th. Gets back onto the turf. Doesn't have a win on the turf, but has a couple decent performances. But you really have to take a look at the fact that both turf races were against the likes of the best of the division anyway. In Rushing Falls, The Way I Am, also Ameritum, and a couple others in there. So while the horse finished 6th and 7th in those grade 2 and grade 3 events on the turf, and you want to say maybe the horse isn't very good on the turf, has faced the likes of some really good horses, gets real class relief as far as the overall field in here comparative to what this horse is run against, and I think is a potential of a horse that you could use at 10-1.
Yeah, I have the horse, underneath in my mix, and I'm going to use it all exotics here because you got to go deep in this race. It's so wide open. This horse is raced against some studs, as you said as well. Raced against Monomoy Girl in that Rags to Riches race at Churchill Downs. Came in 4th that day, pretty distant 4th. But then last time out looked great. Definitely fits in here in this grade 3 event.
Number 4 is Finesse Bear. Last time out, raced in the Santa Anita Oaks against the likes of Midnight Bijou and Spectator. Didn't do much running that day. Finished 8th, beaten 34. Gets back onto the turf, though, where this horse does have 2 wins and 5 lifetime starts. Originally started overseas in France, winning back-to-back races. Then came over to North America and raced in some stakes races, finishing 4th in all 3 of them. I think this horse on a little bit of class relief, obviously facing Midnight Bijou last time out. getting a little bit of freshening. And chips here for Bob Baffert. It's an interesting angle, especially with Ricardo Santana Jr. being aboard. 8-1 on the morning line offers a lot of value.
There is a lot of value in dropping down from that Grade 1 Santa Anita Oaks, but the last three starts before that race I didn't like at all, and I thought I had a good position in that 3-back race, that Sweet Life Stakes. Really couldn't get it done either. Maybe the stretch out will help this horse going back to the turf on a stretch out. From that mile race, the last time the horse ran on the grass, maybe could help. And I like seeing Ricardo Santana in the irons.
Number 5 is Lemon Princess, going out for Joan Scott. 50-1 on the morning line. This horse is a maiden in this Grade 3 event. Has finished second 3 times in 4 lifetime starts, including the career debut against Monomoy Girl on the turf course at Indiana back in September of 2017. Again, I think this horse, obviously Joan Scott likes this horse enough to put it in this type of event where the horse could just easily go back and break the maiden and maiden claimer, or maybe another maiden special weight stepping up. You have to believe that this horse has a little bit of a shot. I know 50-1 is a really big price. Possibly this horse just a little bit over his head, but it's going to be a closer in here. Has run second 3 of 4 starts. And again, I know it's going to be a little bit of a class test in here, but maybe a horse to kind of use in there as a super play. Finishes 4th at a big price, 70-1.
Yeah, definitely. I could see that. After that Monomoy Girl race, the horse lost at a neck by with Paco Lopez at 10-1. Beat Coach Rocks in that race. Was absolutely flying home and was wide the entire way at Keeneland. So this horse is raced against some 2 solid horses we're all familiar with. Monomoy Girl ran great against. Beat Coach Rocks. Lost by a neck at a huge price, was wide the entire way. Very, very interesting. You get 50-1 in such a wide open race. Potentially could, help your trifectas and supers.
Number 6 is Cash Out, going out for George Arnold. Adam Bichette is going to be aboard. 12-1 on the morning line last time out. Did get a little bit of class relief in allowance company at Keeneland over a yielding turf course. Stormed home late. Just wasn't able to get up that day. Finishing second, beating a length. Again, taking a look at the overall body of work, a horse that's 1 for 7 lifetime, has been in the money 4 of 7. But again, is a horse that is going to be a closer setup, is going to need a lot of pace in here. And I'm not sure if there's an abundance of speed in here. You are going to see a Romantic Moment going out and potentially Go Nani Go. But I don't think it's going to be really, really quick in here. And I just said 12-1 had to pass on Cash Out.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't think it's going to be quick either. There's other closers in here that I'd like to take over Cash Out. Adam Biskitza is aboard. He's a stud, and he ran great at Belmont. He didn't get a win, but he ran some big price horses. Almost got home there. So that's what you got to like in the irons. But I agree. I don't think the pace is going to be hot in here. This horse needs a quicker pace, and it saw last time out at the distance and fell up short that race by a length and took a lot of money that day. So 12-1 is very interesting with Adam Biskitza aboard. Ultimately, I had to pass as well.
Number 7, Go Google Yourself. Interesting to see this horse in here. Has only had 1 turf start, and that was the career debut at Kentucky Downs back in September of 2017 against Heavenly Love, who ended up winning that race ultimately. Go Google Yourself finished 4th and then went on to break the maiden on the dirt here at Churchill Downs. Was able to win an optional claim or 2 back at Keeneland. And then last time out finished an even 3rd on the dirt. Switching now to the turf is an interesting aspect out of Into Mischief. Yeah, you have to believe that this horse is going to be about mid-pack in here. And at 10-1, I don't know if you're taking a look at a different angle and a horse getting back onto the turf. It's definitely usable in here.
It could be usable. Going back to the turf, I think it's a nice move. This horse ran fine on the dirt. That's going to make the first greatest stake start on the turf since that Kentucky Downs race. Very competitive Kentucky Downs race, though. But this horse has beaten some nice horses. Beat She's a Julie, who came back and won a race. And also, Go Google Yourself, beat Geo Game. This horse came in second to some nice horses as well, behind Princess Warrior and Classy Act, Chocolate Martini. So this horse lost by length to Chocolate Martini in an optional claimer, which can only flatter Go Google Yourself. But I'd like to see another race on the grass before running in this Grade 3 event.
Number 8 is Beyond Blame, going out for Brad Cox. And Florent Giroux is going to be aboard. 6-1 on the morning line. Last time out, did run 6th by 6 in the Edgewood against Tutenet and also Rushing Falls. 2-back, ran in an optional claimer, was very impressive getting the job done down at Fairgrounds. Again, one of those horses that runs really good and then puts in a little bit of a clunker and then runs really good, puts in hot and cold type horse. If you're looking at the trend, it would trend towards hot, so you have to believe that off of a little bit of a less than par effort, should be able to get back into some really good form. May make it 3 for 6 as far as lifetime wins goes, but at 6-1, I believe this horse has a big shot in here at 6-1 with Franz Ruboard.
This is my top choice here, and as you said, I was looking at the hot and cold theory. This horse is going to get to the lead. We already talked about there's not too much other speed in here besides Heavenly Love, who is that very, very lukewarm morning line favorite. You're going to get a very nice price here. Florent Giroux is great when he gets to the lead, especially on the grass. A lot to like here for Brad Cox as well. He's had a nice Churchill meet as well, 25% winning percentage, winning 16% of his graded stakes. A lot to like with Beyond Blame.
Number 9, Secret Message, going out for Grand Motion, 12-1 on the morning line. A winner 2-back, and a non-winner's a 2 lifetime event at Turfway Park over the synthetic. Last time out did face Stakes Company, and they went really slow fractions in that mile race over the turf course at Pimlico. Again, it was a soft going. Horse ended up finishing second, beating 6 1/4 at 2-1 that day. Getting back onto a firm turf course in here. You have to believe that this horse will potentially like it. It's an unknown for this horse, but at 12-1 with a Rod Ortiz Jr. aboard, offers a lot of value for some good connections.
Yeah, as you said, the connections are great. Grand Motion's training phenomenal. Picked up a very big win in that Manhattan race this past week, and 15% winning percentage in graded stakes. Horse has been working lights out. You get a Rod Ortiz in. Horse ran okay. Obviously I did not think like that surface at Pimlico the whole weekend was just disgusting with rain. So I like the stables, Madigan Stables. I like Grand Motion as well. Very interesting here, Rod Ortiz. Going to be interesting to see where Graham wants this horse placed.
Number 10 is Cabela, 6-1 on the morning line, a winner of 3 in a row. Got snapped last time out, though, in a Grade 3 Edgewood that we talked about with Tutenet getting in the best of Rushing Falls that day, and also Daddy is a Legend. Horse is a stone cold closer, was able to do it 2, 3, and 4 back last time out. Wasn't able to close into the pace, was bothered at the first turn. If you completely throw out that race, the horse was in really good form of recent, back down at Fairgrounds. But again, the workouts have been pretty good. Take a look at that workout on May 27th, a nice bullet first of 22. If you're looking for a horse that potentially could bounce back, I think Capella could be your horse at 6-1.
Absolutely, and obviously you got to throw out last race and race against a really, really nice field there. Tonette ran huge into Manhattan at a huge price. Rushing Fall, we know who Rushing Fall is, and then Daddy is a Legend also ran huge as of recent. So again, this horse beat Beyond Blame by a head, closing extremely well that day. That was 3 starts back at the Fairgrounds. So this horse is, I think, going to sit right off the pace and let the two horses maybe beat each other with some quick fractions. But if not, this horse can make up a little bit of distance with slow numbers.
Number 11, Romantic Moment, going out for Sugar McGahee. Jose Ortiz is going to be aboard. A winner of the last 2, including breaking the maiden 2 starts back down at Gulfstream Park, going the 1.125 distance. Beat a couple nice horses in there, stepped up against winners for the first time last time out at Keeneland over a yielding turf course. Took him wire to wire, was an interesting dynamic for the horse that usually was coming from off the pace, decided to dictate the fractions in that race, so it's quite versatile. And again, I already noted, there's not that much speed in here. The pace should be moderate at best. And if this horse is able to set some soft fractions in here, could be a player at 8-1.
Yeah, I have the horse right in my mix, jogging Jose Ortiz, and we keep saying it, not too much speed. So this horse lost to a really nice horse in Cash, 3 back, who came back to do some nice things. That was at Gulfstream Park. Went to Keeneland. I thought, looked even better than it was on paper at 4-1 on a yielding turf course. Very interesting here. This horse is probably, I think, if he gets to the lead and runs the same exact race as last time out, going to be tough to catch at 8-1.
Number 12, Go Naughty Go, winner 2 back in the Grade 3 Bourbonnette Oaks down at Turfway over the synthetic. Thought that was a decent performance. Last time out, finished an even 5th. Faded that day over the Woodbine Tapeta turf court, or Tapeta surface, up there. And again, just one of those situations where if you take a look at the buyers, this horse really needs to improve Hasn't been able to do so. Did run a career best 2 back 77, but really wasn't able to progress forward. The workouts have been okay. 6-1 on the morning line. The only real intriguing part is you do get Mike Smith aboard.
Yeah, you do get Mike Smith, which is always interesting as a bettor. 6-1 is just too short for me to take, even with Mike Smith aboard, as you said, for all the reasons you said. This horse, you completely throw out that race, I think is okay here, but it's going to go against a little bit better than that field 2 and 3 starts back.
Number 13 is Stavi going out for Larry Jones. Gabriel Sai is going to be aboard. 8-1 on the morning line, a winner of 2 in a row, including the main breaker, going a mile and a 16th at Keeneland. Faced winners last time out. Was able to get the job done, sitting just off the pace. Got a decent 82 buyer, which would fit nicely in here. Now gets the real acid test and graded stakes company jumping up to this grade 3 event. Gets the far outside post, probably not ideal, but 8-1 on the morning line for a horse searching for 3 in a row, I would say is interesting.
And trainer Larry Jones over 15 in graded stakes. This horse had an absolutely perfect trip last time. Sat half a length off, very slow fractions. Perfect trip last time. Was the favorite that day. 1-for-1 at the distance, 1-for-1 at Churchill Downs. As you said, going for 3 in a row. I think it might be tough to have a perfect trip again from the outside stall for a horse that's probably going to want to sit right off the pace. It's going to be tough to do. It's going to have to work a little bit to get in a good position from the outside.
Really big field in this grade 3 regret. What do you like?
Wide open race here. I went the AP on Blame on top. Florent Giroux, I think, is going to work out a perfect trip. Raced against some really nice horses last time out. Second spot, I went with the 11. Jose Ortiz is going to be aboard here. This horse might get to the lead, might wire the field, especially with the slow fractions. And then I went number 1 on top. Heavenly Love, couldn't leave this horse out, especially if it breaks well from the rail. It is a wide open race here. But my long shot in here is She's Pretty Lucky. Corey Landry, Eddie Keneally here, working great. That's the number 3 horse. It's going to have a nice stalking trip. Those 3 horses I named are probably going to get to the lead. This horse should be sitting right behind them.
I went 1, 8, 13, and 4. I did land with Heavenly Love on top. I think it's an interesting horse to use. Last time out, did run in the Grade 2 Appalachian against your Rushing Falls and The Way I Am. I thought that was an encouraging performance, especially off a little bit of a freshening. This horse does have a win over the turf course down at Kentucky Downs. So, for me, I just think the upside for this horse is much more, and you're getting decent value at 5-1 underneath your horse on top. The number 8, Beyond Blame, a winner 2 starts back, has that sort of hot and cold theory. Would be trending hot for this event, 6-1 on the morning line. I think there's a lot to like with that horse. And then also on the far outside, I think the 13 hole, I think is going to maybe shy away. People are going to shy away from this horse. But ultimately, I think has a chance in here, searching for 3 in a row for Larry Jones. I know you said that stat of over 15. Potentially, that's another reason why they kind of take a stand against this horse. But I think could definitely get in the mix, especially in your tries and supers. And then my long shot play is going to be the 4 Finesse Bear, a horse that hasn't won in North America, but looked really good over in France, winning over the first 2 career starts over turf. So we'll see if this horse looks well spotted for Bob Baffert and Ricardo Santana. So at 8-1, I think is a horse to use in here as well. Very interesting race in the Grade 3 regret. 13 horses in that field. All right, we're through 4 or 5. We come back, we'll take a look at the big one, the Grade 1 Stephen Foster.
Pick, bet, and cheer on live racing from Woodbine and Mohawk Park. Thoroughbred and harness action. The wagers are just the beginning. Watch award-winning broadcasts covering both breeds, incredible battles contested over the most unique grass course in North America. Experience the full fields with over 130 thoroughbred and 160 live harness days. Get access to free handicapping material and join the ranks of Woodbine and Mohawk Park players from all over the globe. For more information, visit woodbine.com.
Welcome back to the Capital TV Stakes Preview. As we are through 4 of 5, we're up to the big one on Saturday night. It's the Grade 1 Stephen Foster. They're going to go a mile and an eighth. It's a $500,000 purse. It's for 3-year-olds and up. And again, you have a field of 9 in here. A lot of notable names, starting out with number 1, Honorable Duty, going out for Brendan Walsh. Corey Landry, 6-1, winner last time out. Going wire to wire and an optional claimer here at Churchill Downs. Horse for the course angle. 4 for 8 as far as wins goes, including 6 for 8 in the money. Again, a lot to like as far as the recency. Has faced some graded stakes company before with a couple wins, some nice 100 buyers. But again, last time out, getting the class edge on that field made a lot of sense to beat Guess Sweet and a bunch of others in their Goatstown. but stepping up to this grade 1 level, 6-1 to me seems a little too short.
Yeah, too short for me as well. I couldn't take on top of like Brennan Walsh. He's winning 21% of his races and also 15% of his races. And the first thing I wrote on this horse is it's a tough ass. This horse is racing in some big races. Came in second to Gun Runner by 7, ran 100 buyer in this race last year. But maybe that's why an angle some people would like. It's going to get to the lead, but this race also does have a lot of speed.
On to number 2, Patch. Winner last time out off of a long layoff. Was able to get the job done, though, closing at Belmont Park in a 1-other-than allowance race. I thought that was a really good performance. Ended up getting a 95 by iron here. Second off the layoff, should be much more fit. Is a horse that's going to be coming from potentially from about mid-pack to maybe the back of the pack in here. But there should be some pace with Honorable Duty and also Backyard Heaven, who looks to be very speedy in here as well. A couple others, but I think it sets up very well for Patch, and at 10-1, it's going to be my upset play in here.
Yeah, it's my upset play in here as well, and it's going to be my long shot play in here, I should say. This horse was 7 wide last time. Really nice performance. Took a lot of money. And obviously he's a fan favorite, this Patch. So you get Louis Sias in the irons. Is going to be coming late with the race with a ton of speed.
On to number 3, Hawakam going out for Wesley Hockley. And you're going to get Brian Hernandez Jr. aboard. 12-1 on the morning line. A horse that finished second last time out, too, Backyard Heaven, who is your morning line heavy favorite at 6-5 on the morning line. But again, thought that was an okay performance. The favorite 6-5. This horse was 4.5 off. You're getting 12-1 on Hawakam, who was an upset winner over the slop at Oaklawn. 3 starts back, getting a nice 101 buyer. I think this horse, the faster the pace, the better for Hawakam. The workouts have been okay. 12-1 is appealing.
It is an appealing price here, and the race set up perfectly last time in the Ali Sheba. This horse came flying late, could not catch Backyard Heaven, who is a big favorite. Really fast fractions, which you don't like to see for a closer, but Works has been phenomenal since that last race. Has not been working like a closer at all. Very interesting at 12-1.
Number 4 is Uncle Mojo going out for Todd Pletcher, Johnny V, 10-1 on the warning line. A winner very impressively over the slop at Pimlico. In a 1-other-than allowance race, won by 12 3/4. Very impressive. Got a 91 buyer, a horse that's going to be sitting just off of the speed. Did finish third to Big Dollar Bill and Blue Ridge Traveler. 2 and 3 starts back. Potentially a horse that could be there at the stretch, but it's just hard for me to believe that the horse is going to want the 1.125 distance. Although the horse was able to win at Saratoga going 1.125, the fractions and the race dynamics for this horse don't really set up.
They don't, and this horse wants to get to the lead as well. It's going to really have to work for the lead. Backyard Heaven's going to be there. If not, it's going to let Uncle Mojo run suicidal fractions and run by you. Maybe a potential to hang on for a superfecta for Todd Pletcher. And as you said, the 1-for-1 at the distance is appealing. Horse has been working well since that May 19th victory at Pimlico.
Number 5 is Matru, 20-1 on the morning line. A winner of the last 3, including impressively in the Hanshin, a grade 3 event we talked about on the stakes preview a couple weeks ago, was able to storm home at 8-1 that day, got a nice 102 buyer, which is very impressive. And if you're taking a look at horses' last out races anyway, this horse fits very nicely in here. 20-1 is quite appealing, but again, is a horse that sort of has been rejuvenated with 3 in a row, was running in claiming company at Oaklawn Park against, so much weaker. It wouldn't even make a lot of sense in here, but this horse has really figured it out. Now steps up into this grade 1 company, and pretty much the connection you're saying, why not with our horse being so good?
Yeah, and bred by Windstar Farm, which is what you like to see as well. 1-for-1 graded stakes for the trainer. That was a $19 payoff. So again, I think they're taking a shot here at this field. Why not? I ultimately had to take a pass.
Number 6 is Backyard Heaven, Chad Brown, Red Ortiz Jr., 6-5 on the morning line. Winner of 3 in a row, including very impressively last time out in the Ali Sheba, going a 1/16 here at Churchill Downs, beat Hawakam and also Good Samaritan, who came back to run pretty even race in the Met Mile. But again, a horse that has 105 and 108 buyers, which would completely dominate this field. You have to expect this horse is going to be sitting just off of the speed in here, eyeing what should be a quick pace in here. So interesting scenario for Backyard Kitten to kind of sit off of it in here. But if this horse runs back to any of those last 2 races, it's probably over.
Yeah, it definitely is. This horse is definitely going to let the speed beat the speed and then run you down late. This horse definitely is the horse to beat for Chad Brown and the Ramseys. $160,000 purchase. Well over a good ROI for them. Looked unbelievable last time out on Kentucky Derby weekend.
Number 7, Looking at Lee. A horse that I feel like we talk about every time too, but Last time out, ran into 2 out of that optional claimer and actually got the job done. Hadn't won in a very long time, but was able to get that victory. Nice 92 buyer. Was actually switched race dynamics. Everybody knows looking at Lee for being a stone cold closer, especially running that second place finish back in the Kentucky Derby against Always Dreaming. That's what looking at Lee's kind of known for. But again, set pretty much the fractions last time out, sitting a half length off of the speed. Was able to get the job done by 2 1/4. And Irish Freedom, the horse that finished third, came back to win a couple weeks later. So 12-1 on the morning line. If looking at Lee is somewhat of a horse now that wants to be closer to the lead, may have a chance at 12-1.
You can definitely have a chance. I think it's going to sit right off the pace along with Backyard Heaven. I think this is just a bad spot to test out your stalking ability for a second time, especially you look great in the optional claimer, so maybe they'll revert back to the closing speed with a race that does have a ton of speed. We'll see what Steve Atkinson wants to do.
Number 8 is Irish War Cry, and I'm just going to call and say it. I've been confused with this horse every single time he's raced in his life. Including last time out when we tried to beat him in the Pimlico Special, and he looked like an absolute monster. That was over the slop. He got a 100 buyer. Again, one of those horses that's hot and cold. Either you have him and he's right that day, or he's completely off, and he's not able to win a really good race. But you're getting good value at 5-1. If you think that race last time out was the true Irish War Cry, who was able to win over the slop, you're going to get great value. And Jose Ortiz is aboard, Grand Motion, good connections. You're going to get the value's going to be right to try to beat the Chad Brown horse, which is going to take all the money. Problem is, if you're using the hot and cold theory, it would trend towards cold now because he just ran so well that the bounce theory could potentially be in play, and that's ultimately why I couldn't use this horse.
Yeah, the hot and cold is definitely a big question mark here. Ran in a Grade 2 event, ran last by 30 lengths, came back and looked unbelievable. It was great to see that in person. So maybe, he's going to try to run the exact same race. Definitely should try as well. Slow down the pace a little bit up front. Looked great last time out. I'm going to give the horse a shot here, but again, the price is definitely right at 5-1.
Number 9, Pavel, Doug O'Neill, Mari Gutierrez, 5-1 on the morning line. I'm waiting for this horse to wake up because has had encouraging races the last 4 starts. Was coming off of a little bit of a freshening last time after running a 4th in the Dubai World Cup against Thunder Snow, West Coast, Mutahij. Finished 4th last time against Accelerate, Dr. Door, and City of Light. Again, it's sort of those finishes where you think he's going to take a step forward, he takes money, and then he runs the same exact race. That's what you've seen for 4 in a row. But again, I have Pavel in my mix. I have him in 3rd. I wouldn't say is a win candidate in here, but absolutely could fill out your Tries and Super.
Definitely could fill out your Tries and Super with the closing speed. Ran great in the Dubai World Cup. Ran in the Gold Cup last time. Didn't think that was bad. Ran behind 2 studs and Accelerating Dr. Door. The over 2 at the distance is just a little bit of a question mark, but his race against much better the last 2 starts.
All right, very interesting race. I'm going to try to take a shot against the Chad Brown horse that's been a superstar so far, but what are your thoughts here in the Stephen Foster?
I'm the same way. I'm taking a shot against Backyard Heaven. I went 8-6-4, and Patch was my long shot in here, the 2. Irish War Cry, let's see if he can repeat that. If he doesn't, I'll never use him again. He looked great last time in person. Let's just see if he could get it done. Backyard Heaven, you have to use in your mix. The horse looked lights out, definitely the horse to beat. If it repeats what it did the last 2 starts, it is over before it starts. And then number 4, another Todd Fletcher starter, Uncle Mojo, probably going to be sitting right next to the pace, right next to Backyard Heaven. We'll see what happens here. 1-for-1 at the distance, stepping up to graded stakes for the first time. Has been working lights out since that Pimlico win, very, very impressively. My long shot in here is Patch, a little stone cold closer. Let's see if this horse can run him down for a really nice price at 10-1.
Well, it's so funny that you mentioned that because we talked about it numerous times. We take a look at horse racing every day. We take a look at the buyers and we just over our overall strategies and whatnot. And you take a look at it, and you love a horse, and he disappoints, and he comes back next time when you don't have him, like Murad was a horse that I said I loved him that day. He comes back, he wins at 8-1 next time out when you get off of the train. Yeah. Then you get on the train, and he doesn't win. Then you get off the train, and he wins. And there has to be something said for anybody who's a diehard racing fan. You have to have groups of horses that are either on your bandwagon or off, and you have to oppose or you love, and they're in your stable for life as far as your own stable of horses that you really like. And Irish War Cry for me is a horse that is not in my stable, as a horse that I have to oppose each and every time. He's potentially going to be a horse that you will be off his bandwagon
Right.
if he runs in here. So that's what Sully was kind of alluding to
Yep.
when he said, "I'm never going to bet this horse again if
He
you
let
can't
me
do
down.
it." Yeah. So I ultimately went 2, 6, and 9 in here. I did land with Patch. I think Patch at 10-1 offers some really good value. A horse that last time out, I know ran an allowance company, but has faced the likes of some very good horses. Obviously, he was in the Kentucky Derby last year, ran in the Belmont, finished third that day, and then got a little bit of time off to really grow into him. And again, everybody loves him because he's the horse that has one eye. But he's a solid horse, and I think he's going to run a really good race in here, second off the layoff. 10-1 offers good value. And then underneath the 6, Backyard Heaven, wouldn't be shocked, 6-5 on the morning line. A horse been lights out the last 3 races, winning the Grade 2 event last time out here at Churchill. Should get sitting a really good trip just off the speed. And then Pavel, a horse that I said you're kind of confused with as well, a horse that runs 4th every single time, but is again so much better. Seems to be the class of the field in here when you're comparing it to the overall field. And again, Pavel could absolutely make some damage in here at 5-1. And then the 7 for me as a long shot play, looking at Lee. Another one of those grinders in here that switched tactics last time out, got the job done against weaker, but again has a ton of backclass to make some noise in here as well. So it's a very interesting Stephen Foster. If you can look past the favorite, there's going to be a lot of value in here. So it's going to be quite an interesting race. That's our look at the 5 stakes races at Churchill Downs. Do want to mention that our 3% bonus for Churchill is still going on every race day, so take advantage of that. You must be enrolled in Player Rewards, but again, bet $200 or more on multiples and exotics at Churchill and get a 3% bonus. And again, nothing better than on Saturday night when they're going to have that huge card to take advantage of that. So note that. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week to talk a little bit more about the stakes previews. Just take care.
In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. While other rewards programs simply offer you points redeemable for gift cards, Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB Player Rewards today and get cash back. Visit CapitalOTBBet.com and sign up today. Here's some exciting news from Capital OTB. Capital Off-Track Betting and the Rivers Casino have partnered to bring you the finest experience in wagering on all your favorite thoroughbred and harness tracks from right inside the casino. Our newest location is open daily and can be found at Van Slyck's Bar, offering live tellers, self-serve betting terminals, racing information kiosks, and all the amenities you've come to expect from Capital OTB. See you at the Rivers Casino in Schenectady.